Hello class, we are in week number 6 of Social Work 636. This video will go over a few points about this week's discussion forum. So I'm sure that you are super excited about the fact that finally we are going to be talking about something other than your 3-part program proposal. So for the next 2 weeks in your discussion posts, we will be discussing issues related to organizational leadership, management styles, supervision, trauma-informed care. Give you a little break from thinking about your program proposal as you prepare to submit your final proposals this week. So your post this week for the discussion forum will be in 3 parts. First, you're going to do a leadership inventory. You are going to then share some reflections on your experiences in supervision, and then you will share some thoughts on how to improve communication and handle conflict. You will need to complete all 3 of these parts and use headings to organize your post. The above topics are your headings. Part 1 is a leadership inventory. If you're anything like me, I love to do questionnaires about personality style, leadership style, all of the different things that give a little bit of insight into how you operate with others, how you observe things in your own life. So all 3 of these websites will lead you to a leadership inventory, which is a set of scales looking at how you handle different situations or how you feel about different situations. You're going to choose and complete 1 or more. You can do all of them if you want. They take very few minutes to complete of the leadership inventories, and you're going to summarize the results that you find. Then write a paragraph about whether you felt like the results were consistent with how you see yourself. Do you feel like your answers were true or reflective of how you handle yourself in the workplace or when you have leadership responsibilities or in your personal life or in your extracurricular activities? Do you feel like that's consistent with who you are or how others see you, and why or why not? Part 2 will be reflections on supervision. So in this, you're going to spend 2 to 3 paragraphs thinking about your experiences in supervision at your current or somewhere where you recently worked. You will need to review the readings. Chapter 6 of Brody and Nares goes through different types of roles that your supervisor may play. So these include things like judge, explorer, competitor, treasure hunter, public relations ambassador, and advocate. All of these roles have specific behaviors attached to them that supervisors can be seen playing out in the workplace. You're going to think about and share to what degree has your supervisor successfully played each of these roles. And then you're also going to assess the degree to which your supervisor practiced elements of good supervision. Again, the Brody and Nair reading goes through very specific types of elements that are involved in good supervision. These are things like setting and identifying positive examples for others to follow, taking time to know staff, giving clear instructions, selling ideas rather than dictating them, fostering a collaborative spirit, drawing the line between supervision and therapy, and engaging staff in problem solving. I'm sure all of us have had supervisors that have been less than adequate at handling different situations or in motivating staff to do their best or in unifying staff whenever problems arise. You're going to want to think about those experiences and think about what made some situations more successful when dealing with your supervisor than others. So what was done well in those times when your supervisor handled situations or set a good example? And what were other areas that could have been improved upon? In part 3, it deals with improving communications and handling conflict. Again, you're going to write 2 to 3 paragraphs, and reviewing chapter 10 in Brody and Nair text, you're going to reflect on an experience that you have had related to one of the themes or problems in the chapter. So you want to think about times when you've seen conflicts arise in your work, when there have been power struggles, when there have been situations where possibly coworkers felt like someone was being treated, they were being treated unfairly and someone was being favored. Perhaps there are arguments happening between staff. How do you see your supervisor handling those conflicts? I had a previous supervisor who was completely conflict averse, and I tend to be more direct in the way I handle things and situations, and I tend to speak up when I see things that are not happening in a way that I feel is adequate or in a way that I think is fair. And this supervisor that I had was terrified of conflict. She shrank away from conflict anytime things started to feel uncomfortable. And so what would happen was that disputes between coworkers would start to simmer, and they would start to build up, and people would start to get resentful. And it all stemmed from the fact that she really wasn't able to confront those conflicts head on. And so when somebody would want to directly deal with the conflict, things were handled in a very sensitive way, and it wasn't viewed as an opportunity for healthy development and growth. Rather, it was viewed as something negative. So it's important to think about how you deal with conflict and how you carry the way you deal with conflict into your work all the time. So think about experiences that you've had in your workplace or in your field placement, and think about how you've seen those situations get dealt with in your work. So you're going to respond to a classmate. This week we are not using assigned groups. You can choose whoever you would like to respond to their post. And think about whether you've ever faced a similar workplace circumstance as what your classmate has described. And also, how do you think the situation could have been handled better or the response improved? Try to make these meaningful responses and share your experiences. Use this as an opportunity to engage with one another. So just very quickly, you know that this week is your final assignment due date on Sunday night. So you are going to be turning in your final program proposal. This is the entire cumulative proposal. Please refer back to prior videos and to your syllabus for information on how to arrange all of the pieces in this video, in the final proposal. Make sure you are following the submission formatting guidelines about how to use the template that were sent out to the class, and make sure that you are reflecting on the feedback that has been given over the course of several weeks to make changes to the different components. It's okay if you need to go back and change something in your logic model or something in your budget to make sure everything is consistent. All of the pieces of your program proposal should work and flow together when you put the whole thing together. That's very important because you do not want pieces to be inconsistent with one another. If anyone has any questions about how to compile all of these different pieces into the final program proposal, please do let me know. Send me an email, give me a call. I am here to help. Have a great week.